All right, this is an important video for me. Um, I just got back from California, actually West LA, where I spent time with my father. Um, my dad, well, my dad is cared for primarily by my brother, and he has full time care during the week. My brother had to go to New Orleans for his son's graduation. And the idea got floated and was a really good idea for me to come out and hang with my dad for a week, be able to see my brother in the beginning and see him at the end of his trip coming back home and leaving from home and getting to spend that real one-on-one time with my dad. And it was amazing. Um, so this video is just being a human video. A lot about being present and being able to care for another person, a family member, probably doesn't matter who it is, and being able to have real compassion for another human being. So, my father, he has Alzheimer's, and it is very difficult to watch under all circumstances with everybody. And my father's a really proud man, and he's accomplished a lot. He's got a lifetime portfolio of service to his community, and I adore him. I used to hate that man growing up. We had a strained relationship. Uh, talked about it in my story when I participate in talks inside of a recovery um, program or facility when I'm asked to speak. Um, my dad did everything he could for me that he knew how to do for me, including things like playing sports. I'm terrible at sports. I don't really know if there's a sport I'm really good at. Um, well, there were some sports, but apparently you can't be a professional, alcoholic or something like that. So he would make me play sports because that's what he knew how to do. And I would play t-ball as a kid. I don't know how many people out there can say that they successfully struck out in t-ball and going beyond three strikes, you're out. I had 7 strikes. Good job, kiddo. You're out. And that whole time, that the 7 strikes, they felt like an eternity. So from that moment, I really learned to hate my father and think that he was doing this at me and not realize he was doing the best he could for me and how much he loved me. And I spent decades just separating from him, drinking at him, not showing up for him, being being a difficult son, if not almost entirely a not present son. I was a non-son, and when he got older and I got sober or sober, just and started to live my life by different principles, the 12-step program principles and principles of a philosophy that I like to follow. I hope that me just talking around it is enough that I don't need to go into it. If people want to know what it is, maybe message me or something, and I'll say I'm not here to promote anything. I'm just here to connect. And speaking of connection, I went out there and really got to connect with my father and this proud man with Alzheimer's. I've been there a couple times before. He lives in LA. I live in Cheltenham, which is in Philadelphia, or northeast of Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. And every time I go there to see him, it's like a snapshot. It's like taking a picture of him in that stage where he's at that time. Because next time I come, he's not going to be that. and that's okay. It's unfortunate. It's life. He's got a disease. Alzheimer's is not a fair disease. And this most recent time, what I saw was a man who really realized what is going on. And it's a sad, scary time because at this point in the progression of Alzheimer's, he knows what's going on and he has these moments of just completely hating himself. He says so. And my father recently called me his clone because we both tell dad jokes and we're silly. And, I just told a bunch of people this the other day. My dad's the guy where he's like, "Hi, I'm Les Bronte. It's great to meet me." And people laugh, and they always have. I cringed when I was young. And when he called me his clone, I cried. This is in my adult years, my sober years. And ever since, we built a connection with each other that is magic. I don't know that I have beautiful. I don't know that I have any other words to talk about it. And to see him, at a place where he has to write on a little sticky note the name of the person that cares for him 9 hours a day, 5 days a week, because he'll forget it from 15 minutes to 15 minutes to 15 minutes. And it's hard, but he's coming up with systems for ways he can work with what he's got. And what I saw this time was a man who was losing confidence in himself. And confidence is the thing. That was the one thing you would notice about this man, that me on this video talking and sharing anything this isn't me. This isn't the version of me that I've known my whole life. This is just a sober version of me being asked to speak a lot. And I do. And it's a privilege. It really is, to share my story, share my journey. And that's not what this channel is about. This channel is more about just how I deal with specific things and how I deal with it as a sober man and how I deal with it as a principled man and having things like philosophy in my life. Those things are important to me. And what I really came to grips with myself and with him was this idea. A friend of mine, this guy Tony, he breaks down the word compassion into two root words, and it's to allow and to suffer with. And to allow this of my father, the frustrations, the sadness, the anger. I mean, who wouldn't shake their fist at the sky and say, "God, why would you have a disease like that? And why would you have a disease like that and give it to me?" And to allow that and just be there. There's nothing I can say. There's nothing I need to say. Does it need to be said? Anything? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said by me right now, there at that time? Probably not. The only thing there is to put my arm around him and just say, "Dad, I love you." And tell him how proud I am of him. And I told him things that perhaps I never said before. I told him I loved him and I thanked him for the father he was, because, man, he was outgunned with a child like me. Can't imagine anybody would be trained to parent an unparentable child like me when I was young. And I told my dad, I have this thing, and every day in today, recovering every day and recovering from the real world, recovering from substances, I'm recovering from everything. And I look for examples in my life. I look for teachers and I look for heroes. Heroes are easy. I mean, I spent time in a hospital. That's another video. And I was surrounded by heroes, these people who would do for you with care in their heart for a stranger when they're at their low point. That's a hero. That's an easy one to emulate. but teachers are people who demonstrate behaviors. And my father was demonstrating bravery, was demonstrating, sorry for the dogs, I warned you all the time. My father was demonstrating bravery and, as an example, showing what it's like to live through something like this and still find meaning and purpose. I told my father, he's my teacher. I told my father, he's my hero. And I told him I loved him with all of my heart. And I put my arms around him and I cried. I cried with him. This is an experience I never had with that man my entire life. I look back and I see a man who did everything he could possibly know how to do with his upbringing, with his father. And I saw a man who loved me unconditionally, always. And I see that man today. He's not a bad guy. He's a great guy. He's a great example. And he has a really good sense of humor. And I told him, Dad, let's do a video together. I want to do a eulogy for you. And he laughed. He's like, did I die already and I don't know it? No, Dad. He's like, all right, cool, let's do that. And I did a eulogy for my father. I figured, why wouldn't you do that? You eulogize a person, and at the funeral, that's the one person that's not there to hear it. So I did it for him, and it turned into a much longer thing. But it was wonderful. It was a great way to celebrate him and have him see himself through my eyes as a great man. The only reason I can speak in public and be a storyteller, this is what I'm told. I don't know what I think I am. It's because of my father. Just being able to get up there and be useful and helpful and make people laugh, make people cry, everything. And it was great. He's the kind of guy, his sense of humor is so awesome. My father did a video welcoming everybody to his funeral. I think that's fantastic. And he just lapped that up, man. He was just telling all of his jokes and intro saying, well, welcome everybody to my funeral. I really appreciate you all being here today, even the people I don't truly care for. And just these sarcastic jokes and these dad jokes and all this stuff, it inspired me to see a man who's losing his confidence. That's a precious gift. Losing his confidence, be able to just tap back in to the man I've always known and the man I've always loved. And today is the man I want to emulate. I want to be that guy for other people. And I am. I believe that I am, and I believe that I'm good at it, and I believe that I do that. But it's through the voices and the reflections in the eyes of my friends that I see what kind of man I am. And my reflection in my father's eyes, I see a man that he's proud of me today because he told me so. This is not a crying video, so I'm not going there, but this is a very, as could be imagined, special thing. And all the things I've learned over the last 9.5 years of being sober and knowing that there's other things out there. I'm not necessarily a religious guy, but I am a spiritual guy. And, the root of this spirituality, the philosophy that I follow is simply just an alignment with nature. And that really helps me with things like being a part of and connected with. And the only time and place I can do that is right here, now, in this moment. While I'm making this video, I'm completely present for you. I'm making this video for you, not for me. I have a mirror. I can talk in the mirror all day long to myself, but I'm not interested. I make this hopefully to be helpful to another person and get out of my own way, get out of me. I spent plenty of time in me. The inside of me is like a prison, but it's a prison where the key's on the inside and I don't know how to get out. And now, for the most part, I'm out and I can love other people and I can be there for other people. I can stop my world, what's going on in the moment, to be present in that moment for another person. I'm still trying to play catch up with that I do that. I get that is me, but it's not me, or it wasn't me, but now it is me. And I describe it like it's a calling. Um, I'm drawn to it. I don't know why, but the root of it, what it all grew from, is these principles. And again, the principles, they can be 12 steps from whatever program you want, or they can be a connection to all things through philosophy or through religion. I couldn't get there for a long time, and then it took a lot of being present and patience. And now I'm here. I don't get frustrated at my father when he repeats, he loses, he spills things, because I can see the me in him. I could lose my keys in my back pocket. I can look for my glasses while they're on my head. I can do those things, and I know those are the things my father goes through, and they're frustrating. But when I find these things, I laugh. I come up with little systems how I won't do that again. And it doesn't always happen, but I see my father doing that. And I love that man. I always will. And man, what a compliment when he told me I was his clone. He has this thing, he talks about his father. He adored his father. And he says this simple line: what I wouldn't do to pick up the phone and call my father just one more time. And that's why I call every single day, because I can pick up the phone and call with a smile on my face, with eagerness for him to pick up the phone on the other end. So far, he's got a perfect batting average. He picks up the phone and we talk. And most of the time, he says, I love you. His other sign off thing is, kiss, kiss, bye. I don't know what the kiss, kiss means, but I laugh about it. My wife laughs about it. It's fantastic. It's him. It's him. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video. And thank you for people in my life that are there to teach me how to do things like this, to love and care for another person and be connected. Connection's a big deal. Maybe I'll do another video talking just about connection. Um, it's a biggie. Anyhow, thanks again, and look for the next video.